So apparently you want to use TikTok Organic to grow your consumer app without losing your mind. Let me show you how. So in this video, I'm going to go over what we at my agency suggest to founders based on where their app is at. So whether you're a bootstrapper just getting started or you're already growing your app and making money, you're going to find this video useful. Now, before we get started, if your app is a to-do list app or habit tracking app, just click off right now. I'm just messing around. All right, first some basics. What is organic content? How does it work? Why does it work? Organic content is very simply posting videos onto social media platforms like TikTok or Instagram that captures attention and provides value to gain organic traction, organic content, right? So the core of it is pump out videos, make sure they're actually relevant to the niche and something people will actually watch and engage with, because you're relying on the algorithm pushing your videos organically. Now, here's the thing with organic content. You need to post consistently and you need to make sure it blends in with the niche you're posting to. The optimal strategy is having multiple accounts posting 1 to 2 videos every day and targeting a different audience on TikTok with each account so you can get more shots on goal and just test out what works, right? The reason I say optimal though in quotations is because optimal is subjective on your position, right? Recently I had a call with a bootstrapper. He has a full-time job while building his app, right? And everyone has been telling him, hey, you need to use organic content. And they're absolutely right. But here's the issue. This guy barely has time between building his app and doing his full-time job. The last thing he needs is the headache of trying to recruit a bunch of creators and then also manage those creators simultaneously. So here's what I told him, and here's what I tell a lot of first-time bootstrappers. Start with a single page. It could be branded or subtle, but just start posting consistently on there. Get an understanding of the algorithm. Get an understanding of your niche. Get an understanding of the type of videos you want and what works. So how did he do? Over the course of a month of consulting him, he got over 2,000 followers on his single page. Now, the key here is you have to be intentional about your videos. What do I mean in terms of being intentional about your videos? Do not just pull them out your ass, right? Research what kind of videos do well in your niche, but specifically what kind of videos do well for a specific hashtag or specific set of hashtags. Now, imagine you can only include 1 to 3 hashtags in the description of your videos. Pick those hashtags wisely and then gear your videos around what does well on those specific hashtags. Don't just target fitness tips, right? Don't just target, walking, target hot girl walk. Little things like that. Little things like that make a big difference. Now, you're going to need 2 types of video ideas. Value videos and call to action / demo videos. Value videos are pure value. You're not plugging your app. You're just trying to add value based on what is doing well on these specific hashtags that you're targeting. So there's 3 ways to add value, right? Educate, entertain, inspire. Some niches and hashtags favor one of those things more than others. So why are you doing this? Posting a lot of value videos help you gain traction in the algorithm and get people engaging with your content, right? Now, next, you're going to develop a call to action / demo video idea. Imagine this like a middle ground between an ad and a value video, right? You're still providing value, but you're also figuring out how can I plug my app within this video. This is where the creative juices really have to get flowing, and this is usually why people work with us. Now, depending on the kind of video you want, you might even be able to hire a few cheap editors to make some of these videos. But now, once you got that account rolling, you can start branching out and working with creators to get multiple pages going. Now, you want to know the key to dealing with creators? Vetting them properly. So what should you do? First, you're going to go on Twitter and you're going to make a simple tweet, right? Looking for UGC creators to market an app. Of course, you'll be paid, right? You're going to start getting some responses, but we're not done. You're also going to make an Upwork client account and make a job posting on there. You might think this is overkill, but trust me, you're going to have to talk to a lot of creators to find a few that you can work with. Now, this is important. In order to vet them, you absolutely need a few things. First, a sample video. This is non-negotiable, either from a previous client or one they make just for you, specifically marketing an app, not some random e-com product. Second, confirm they have a second phone, and ideally iPhone. I'm sorry, Android. You know, I know some of you Android fanboys are going to get mad at this. iPhone supremacy. iPhone supremacy. Okay? Third, they should ideally be based in the US so that their videos get shown to US viewers. Unless, of course, your app is meant for a different country, then you don't need to worry about that. At our agency, we have an entire flow on how we go about vetting creators. So shoot me a quick DM on Twitter if you need more help with this. I'll leave my link in the bio. Another very important thing, have a strict budget on your site. To put it in perspective, creators can charge anywhere from 20 to 200 plus per video. Okay? And this is why I said you're going to need to talk to a lot to get a few to work with. Whatever your budget is, make sure it's reasonable, but stick to it. Okay? This might mean you won't get beyond initial conversation for a lot of these creators. That's okay. Now, once you have a few creators to work with, you're going to start with a paid trial week to gauge whether or not you can work with them long term. Usually what I'm looking for is how well they can communicate and whether or not they stay consistent with producing. This is a bare minimum here. They're bare minimum here, right? So here's the kicker once again. Be intentional with the videos, right? Same as when you were making videos for the single page, you want to be intentional with each creator. But now you have the option to target multiple different niches, multiple sets of hashtags, because you're going to have multiple different accounts, right? Now you're going to want to develop a content brief for each creator. It should outline 1 to 3 hashtags that they're going to target with their videos. It should have some examples of what you're expecting from them. It should include some background music, not background music. It should include some background on some quality hooks they could use. Once again, they're going to pump out a mix of value videos and call to action videos. The value videos, they could pretty much copy the examples you provide. For the call to action videos, break it down completely from start to finish. I'll be honest with you, break it down completely, okay? Now, you cannot blame your creators for lackluster videos if you're just lazy, okay? That's just point blank, period. Now, do you know what would absolutely suck? If you didn't guide the creators and then just everything hit the fan. So the next important aspect is guiding the creators. I use the word guiding because philosophically, I am just against the idea of managing. If you're trying to do anything exceptional, you can't afford to manage. You can't afford to waste your time like, okay, are you doing this? Are you doing every little thing? Guide, lead, help, sure. But I'm fundamentally against the idea of working with people that you have to manage. So how do you guide your creators? First and foremost, set clear expectations and goals from the start. How many videos are you expecting from them each day? If it's not each day, then what particular days of the week? Work with them to establish clear goals. Then it's important to track these goals. What we like doing is just setting up a Google shared sheet and then sharing that with the creator. Have their posting and goals kind of outlined there. Then also collaboratively keep a track of their posts. What day it was posted, how it's performing, and a separate notes column just to gauge any major iterations that you make. You want them to be invested in it just as much as you. Now, beyond that, if you've ever hired anyone or gone about delegating, you'll know a lot of it just comes down to hiring and firing quickly. It's just a fact, which also makes it that much more important that you maintain a good relationship with creators that you work well with for future campaigns. So really on your part, all you have to do is 3 things really beyond this point. First, stay disciplined with the overall content strategy, right? Next, guide your creators, which might mean getting new ones. Third, consistently research on the platforms to iterate the content. Now, what should you look out for? What pitfalls, what things are you going to face? The biggest challenge is going to be with sourcing and guiding creators. That's where most of the issues are going to come. Especially sourcing the creators unless you're willing to spend and lose a lot of money experimenting with the online platforms. And like I mentioned earlier, usually the best way to find quality creators is simply working with a few and seeing who pans out and who doesn't. Usually over time you get a better knack for who's going to mesh, but that takes multiple campaigns and multiple different target markets before you start developing the instinct for that, right? Another sneaky thing is you have to consistently research and iterate the content. And that takes a lot of discipline, especially if you're building and doing all the other things on the side that come with, building an app. But you really have to set aside time to consistently do that and take notes on what's working and what's not. Now, I might be a little biased here, but I think you should just take the easy way out and book a free call with us. see how we could work together without you having to do all this stuff by yourself. I'm just saying, but there's going to be a link in the description for the smart folks watching.